As of December 12th, 2020, YouTube has lost one of its finest content creators. A hidden gem by the name of Cryy, not to be mixed up with Cryotic, somebody who has been on the platform for, I would say, probably around a fucking decade. But no, I am talking about this man right here, who is absolutely nothing short of a legend as far as I am concerned. I've only recently bumped into his channel and started watching it and keeping track of everything that he does over, I would say, the last year. At some point, I don't remember entirely when I had officially subscribed to him, but I believe I bumped into him through the Tectone channel, which is a guy that usually covers mobile games, thanks to my recent addiction over that year through Arknights. Regardless, as I said, to put things back on track, though, he has officially put out a video as of today declaring his leaving of the platform. It is official, it is set in stone. It was about a minute-long video in a spectacular blaze of glory via the very same video that was used God knows how long ago during many of our millennial childhoods, involving the actual declaration of Toonami leaving forever, which was fucking spectacular to watch, and honestly very somber and really sad, to be really blunt about it. It was something that hit me a lot harder than I thought it was going to for whatever reason. There are two reasons why I am even bringing this topic up today, and one of the primary ones, and very simple ones, just being a bit of a testimonial of sorts towards a YouTuber that I just particularly was drawn to watching. I have always been drawn to the more realer, it's not a word to be using properly grammatically, but who fucking cares, the real YouTubers, essentially. Like I had said several times across many videos and across many testimonials and such before in the past, Cryotic has always been a huge inspiration for me over that particular reasoning. I have always been into the people that are just more upfront, real, calm, collected, and there's an element of that to be seen in my own personal style here on the channel. And Cryy was without a doubt one of those types of people down to a fucking T. And for some strange reason, I just kind of felt like I could relate to him, despite I don't really know him very clearly, obviously. I don't know anybody that I really have seen online or whatever. I've never talked to him in person or any way, shape, or form, but like I said, you just feel a weird empathy with it, if that makes any sense. Now, Cryy is not the first person that I have seen in recent time to leave the YouTube platform that are content creators that I watch actively as well. I've also seen this happen with somebody else by the name of Valkyrie Aurora, who I had bumped into pretty recently that did a lot of like Final Fantasy XIV shit and fucking, I think it's the Atelier games is what she was pretty known for doing and talking about like what ones are decent and stuff, but regardless, that and Drakengard too. There was a lot of Drakengard. But the point that I'm trying to put across here, ladies and gentlemen, is I've seen a number of people that I really like on this platform leave, and it's just gotten my mind thinking in a number of different ways about other things and the future of my own channel. For the record, this is not me saying goodbye to the platform at all, so don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. I don't foresee it for quite a while. But this is still going to lead into the second reason why I am making this video in the first place, which is to discuss, I guess, the future of my own channel and to kind of allow you guys to get into my head a little bit with my own aspirations and things that I want to do just a little bit more. I do this enough anyway on the channel, but we're going to talk about something a little different that I've never really talked about on the channel before, which would be potential reasons why I would drop the channel altogether or whatever the case is and leave the platform in lieu of doing other things. Because it is going to happen eventually. All good things will eventually come to an end. For the many years that I have been here, I have seen a number of my acquaintances that were other people that I have probably talked to at one point or another on forums, many of which I am still subscribed to as well, when I was first an up-and-coming, learning how to do things YouTuber. I've seen a lot of these people fade and eventually disappear from the platform altogether, or very rarely make things. Sometimes I get them popping up in my comments, or I'll talk to them through Discord, or whatever the case is. But for anybody who is unaware, I've talked about this before. I was part of a forum for a while, and it was a beautiful community of other Let's Players. But I've seen almost all of them, with the exception of XEI and maybe 2 others, completely drop YouTubing altogether. And as I've seen these people drop out and go back into doing whatever it is that they do, etc., etc., I've kind of always had this air of thought to myself where I continued my integrity. I continued doing the thing that I wanted to do, the thing that I loved so much, the thing that I was passionate about, whereas other people dropped it. And this isn't an air of superiority, mind you. I don't view myself as better than those people, but I have always had that thought to myself where I had continued on despite my very small fan base, and continued to do so where other people had completely dropped off of the planet in doing so. And the reason why I bring this up is simply to bring us back to something that I have mentioned before, but I'll go ahead and say it again. I am not in any way, shape, or form losing my desire or anything whatsoever with wanting to continue the channel. It has never been about that in any way, shape, or form, so this isn't me saying that I'm starting to lose my passion for the channel to want to continue on, is what I'm saying. And it was exactly the same with Cryy, who had mentioned the same thing in his video with it. It has nothing to do with a lack of passion for it, rather just a lack of time. To quote one of the more influential games that I have ever been in contact with ever in my life, I believe it was To The Moon, said that aspirations initially come on strong, plateau, and then fade. I am nowhere near that fading part, but I am definitely on the plateau. I don't think that it's ever going to rise any higher than it is, and I don't think that it's going to get any lower at the moment for quite a bit, to be honest with you. So we're just sitting on the plateau right now is all. However, I digress from that point. I had always said from the get-go that if I were ever to leave YouTube and to stop doing so, that I would definitely do some video letting people know ahead of time, whether I had 10 subscribers or 10 million subscribers, it doesn't matter. I've always treated my channel with that same integrity, where despite the fact that it was a really small channel, I figured that I should still have that a little bit of a mentality behind it to pretend as if I had a massive fan base, you know what I mean? Like, not... There's some nuance to what I'm trying to say, but I believe that you guys understand what I'm trying to illustrate right there. It's like the dress for the job that you want, not the job that you have mentality, essentially. Cryy's goodbye video had a heavy emphasis on not passion or desire to do things, but rather time management, and spending your life to do things that you want to be remembered for, that you want to do. This is not the only time that I have had this hard reminder kick me in the face in 2020, and I have made a video about it before when it was talking about how Cryy has influenced me twice with a video that he had done recently, and by that I mean Cryotic, Cryy. I know this is very confusing, but there are 2 Crys on the platform. This is going to lead us into the final bridge of the video right here, which would be, what exactly do I want to do with my life? What are my actual aspirations? Where do I want to go with things, etc., etc.? I know it's a very deep and convoluted topic, but we're going to go ahead and dig into that just a little bit here so that you guys can understand my headspace. For anyone unaware who probably has not seen that Cryy video that I had mentioned, I've spent a pretty good chunk of my life not necessarily planning that out or really doing much with it. And that's not like a self-loathing kind of thing in any way, shape, or form. I've just never really spent a whole lot of my time just specifically for me trying to do those things, trying to accomplish things, etc. It's always been on the back burner for a bigger picture of sorts, or so I had originally thought. There are 3 general things for me to look forward to in my future, though, however, that I have absolutely decided on. And one of the first and primary ones is I do plan on eventually living and residing in the same exact area as pretty much my best friend of all time, Cameron, who is also known as Javon, or Javon of Destruct. And he has been on a number of my videos a long time ago, not so much now because he just doesn't really have the time to show up in recordings as much, but we do talk pretty much regularly. In fact, he called me in the middle of this recording session, so that tells you a thing. This is hardly going to have any impact on my YouTube channel in any way, shape, or form, to be honest with you, other than the fact of adding content to it, because one of the things that we want to look forward to is we're going to wind up making memories doing random YouTube shit. We are both heavily into voice, audio, all of that kind of stuff. We would love to be able to voice act in some way, shape, or form, or at least make music to sing, something of the sort, which we'll be going into that one in a minute, but that is one thing that we definitely want to do. We've always considered ourselves as kind of like the typical Aaron and Danny from Game Grumps pair. Me being the Aaron to his Danny. That'd be the best way for me to explain it. I'm the animated one that everybody thinks is always angry, and he's just chill and doesn't give a fuck. It's just, that's how we are. It's pretty much how our back and forth always is. And we plan to eventually do kind of a duo thing once we get to that point. We just haven't figured it out yet. However, back to the actual aspirations part, there are 2 things that I absolutely want to be remembered for in the future. 2 things that are on the top of my priority list. And as mentioned before, if I ever leave, well actually I don't think I've ever mentioned this, especially in the video, is if I ever do leave the platform, it's going to be in lieu of using my time for other things. So that's how I wanted to correlate what I was saying before with other people leaving the platform, my old mentality of persevering where others have not persevered. It's simply that my experiences and my situation is just different from the people who have left. Doesn't necessarily mean anything other than that. But back on track here, the 2 things that I would like to do, or at least one of them, is I want to be known as being a musician, just very plain and simply put. It doesn't necessarily have to be something that I make a living off of. It's not the most realistic expectation anyway, but I want to be a musician, 100%. I want to make music. I want to be able to make that and correlate that into a thing that I do. My profession of choice, I would like to do coding, and then musician stuff on the side, so I would also have to spend time to work on getting into the field, but that's neither here nor there, kind of irrelevant at the time, but that constitutes as time management as well. But I want to be a musician, 100%. That is one of the biggest things that I would love to do, is to focus my time on doing that and being able to make particularly music in the electronic side of things and get a little more familiar with my audio space that I work with, Cubase. And the second thing that I would love to achieve, if at all possible, with both of those things is I want to be looked at as a creationist of sort. Not even necessarily with just music, but I want to be known as somebody who made something that has influenced somebody else's life in not just like a minor way, but like a pretty significant way in one way, shape, or form. I don't know if that makes me kind of arrogant to think of that, but basically I would like to, in either the form of a video game or in the form of a story of some kind, create a universe that people can resonate with, something that is specifically a fantasy-themed setting for other people to utilize as, I don't know, some kind of a creative output, if that makes sense. The way that I had explained that was very on the fly, and I may need to re-record it, but I'm probably going to keep it in there anyway, because I think that about is as best as I can explain it. I would like to create a fantasy universe that other people are affected by in some way, shape, or form, something that holds some level of ground with it that other people can enjoy. But anyway, this is starting to go on for a little bit longer than I had expected to make the video for. I was aiming for about like the 10-minute, 12-minute point, but we're going a little bit over here, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut it down a bit. I don't see any changes happening in the near future for this channel in terms of anything like that, or me leaving or changing my schedule with it whatsoever. I apologize again for being like over a week for the Library of Ruina stuff. I'm probably going to record a little bit of it today, if not tomorrow, and then getting it up. And that's really all that I can say with you guys there. Again, it's not really a lack of passion, it's just literally I need to be in the right mood for it, and I've been spending a lot of time playing video games and stuff and just kind of thinking about my life, which can be a little bit self-detrimental at times. It depends on how much that you mull over it, though, but, you know, it is what it is. And with the situation that it is right now here in fucking the good old US of A, there's still a big old spike of, you know, the C word that we're not allowed to say on the platform without getting demonetized and shit. So, yeah. I don't see anything happening in the near future with that, but soon I may need to utilize my time for when this shit clears up a bit so I can make the best of my time, and I just wanted to let you guys be aware of that for now, because sometime soon I am going to wind up needing to figure out how to get these things in motion, and these aspirations and stuff going, and how I'm going to plan my time for it. I've just been exceptionally lazy with it. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you later. Take it easy. I am the RPG Fox, and may you all roam free.